I think I have found a really big problem in the Charlie Kirk court case that just started. Right now, the court case just started and the initial legal paperwork has gone through the court. I've analyzed that and I want to show something that I think is going to be a very big problem. This is a case where the defense attorneys went off and submitted what they requested for evidence to be handed over. And this is where I think the root problem is. This is going to be a big problem. This will be a big problem to railroad Tyler Robinson into prison, but do a cover up for any intelligence service that was behind committing the assassination. So I'll go over specifics. I've been going over the legal documents and specifically over the request for discovery. And this is where I think we have a very clear documented problem. And unless I'm interpreting this incorrectly, anyone can try to let me know if they see otherwise. But this is what they are requesting. So when you want a laundry list, in citizen readable terms of what the legal documents are saying, you will see this over here in this is a list that they are requesting to be received. My worry is this is a very tiny scope just to railroad Tyler Robinson into prison, but cover up for a nation state or an intelligence service behind the assassination. So let me get over specifics. The part that I do like seeing that they requested is that the security camera footage they are requesting. So that security camera footage is important. I did not see a request for the video footage from the TPUSA cameras. Those are critical because they were about 8 feet away from Charlie Kirk as he died, and it had all of high resolution 4K, high frame rate video footage that'll be really critical. So I did not see that, and that's an important missing part. Now, I'll do a series of videos to cover this. In this one, I want to go over 4 things that I think are important for discovery because they will uncover an intelligence service behind this. Now, here is the key thing. The defense, this is the key to go get their client to go walk absolutely free. And I'll go through that more at the end. But these are the 4 things that are, I think, incredibly crazy that they did not include in discovery. So the number 1 is that it appears that a private contracting company that does surveillance, the Mark Inc. Corporation with the Piper, the specific plane right here, was contracted to do surveillance, and its exact window of the assassination immediately up before it, about 45 minutes to finish up their surveillance, 45 minutes before the assassination, and only 15 minutes until the shooter enters the campus. So the defense attorneys are missing something critical to go get all the information behind any serious actor that hired the surveillance company, and then also consume the surveillance data out of it while they were carrying out this operation. So this was definitely not hired by some 22-year-old college dropout. This is definitely more serious, and then finding out who contracted this is really important. And then the second here is that this drone footage, there's been reports of military drones, there's reports of civilian drones. Getting this information is really critical. I did not see this in the request for discovery. By seeing the presence of military drones and their operators, it will be critical to help uncover this. In previous reporting, whether it's Candace Owens or others, you'll hear a term, Egyptian military contractors, and they may not be military, it may not be Egyptian, but it's kind of the phrase being used. Now, they were at the airport, they flew in on these foreign government intelligence service type planes, and the military contractor crews that were at least having intelligence level security to get past security at the airport using intelligence level badges. They were running military drone exercises at the airport, on a section of the airport, a number of days, up to the assassination. And there was other reports by a groundskeeper at the UVU that may well have said that they saw them with drones at UVU the day of the assassination. That part we need to go double check and confirm, but I got an initial report on that. Now, over here is the airport. So they had Charlie Kirk, which Casovan said is very strange, flying into a farther away airport when it would make sense for him to fly into this airport. But this airport is the one where they had these Egyptian, quote unquote, airplanes that were here in part that Charlie would have identified because they've been following him around up to 73 times, him, his wife, and their events. So this is the airport where the military planes were at. The report was that these Egyptian military contractors, or not U.S., were doing a specific kind of thing called counter UAS. That's basically drones. Unmanned aerial systems, which are effectively military level drones with advanced electronics for military operations with drones. And they were doing that a number of days at the airport, when they came in on that plane. And this was right here. And these drills were done right up to the assassination. So the question is, why did defense attorneys not request this in discovery? It just doesn't make sense. Here we're going off to the next big point. So the reporting had been that there were a big group of cars and visitors at Tyler's apartment the day or night before the assassination. Now, when I looked at the number of things requested, it was very simple stuff to get him in prison, and along the lines of a narrative of a lone wolf. So I did not see them requesting about the multiple people at his apartment and their connections to intelligence service, cell phones, and all that. This was all missing, and this was really, really critical because this would tie over to an intelligence service. So the main point here is this is coming from defense attorneys. There's no reason they wouldn't do this to get their client off. My previous account had been completely censored on X, so I have a new account. It's Holland Citizen. You'll see me go after these issues. Follow me if you want to learn more. The question is, this is the time for them to submit discovery. They've submitted list for discovery. We've got those documents. Unless we're missing something, all of this is missing. So let's come back over to that list, these 4 items right here. Now, this right here cracks it open to an intelligence service carrying out the assassination and being able to prove it both in the first trial with Tyler Robinson, but also it allows citizens to go get access to that data through court discovery for continuing the investigation. And then if they're able to railroad Tyler Robinson in the first court case, getting this information into the first case, is critical because it will be used for appeals if there's injustice done during the first court case. If they fail to get this critical information into the first court case, they will be locked out of it in appeals, and it'll lock him into a lone wolf and hide the intelligence service behind that. Now, I'll get off to the next point, which I'll be doing, which is there's legal strategy, a big mistake being done by the prosecutors because they want to railroad this into a lone wolf. They are charging him with murder. Now, when you look at the list of charges, you'll find out that Their mistake is they're not charging him with attempted murder. So what happens here is they are doing effectively a lone wolf trial, but they risk it all if we, as citizen investigators, pry out that this is done by an intelligence service. Then what will happen is if we show that the cause of death is done by a different assassin of an intelligence service, whether it was a no fingerprint exploding lapel mic, or it was through the ear, which that other photo has of blood coming in from another shot through the ear, if that gets documented and proves that he's not the cause of death, because they are so much into a lone wolf charge, they do not put on the attempted murder. So what happens is, if through the trial, defense attorneys, being smart, they go prove an intelligence service committed it, and the cause of death was not by Tyler Robinson or his rooftop location. It was done by another point. Then what happens is they could have put Tyler Robinson in prison for attempted murder, being in the location with a gun, even though if he never even fired, or it was a blank, or he never hit it, at least they could put him in prison for attempted murder. But because they're going all in on lone wolf, and they do not put the attempted murder on there also, they either want to slam him into prison for a lone wolf or lose it all and he walks free. So that's very, very important. And what we're doing here is to do this. Now, the defense attorney and their team must go as equally hard to go get all this intelligence service connections into the case. But when you look at that list, all the connections to the intelligence service doing the assassination are all missing, and a button-up, slam closed, allow him to be prosecuted and sit in prison for lone wolf is what they're requesting, which is very, very strange for defense attorneys, in my personal opinion. Again, my last account was completely censored. And so here's my Holland Citizen is my new account. I'll have a lot more coming out. What I'm doing is having my programming background have a lot of programming scripts running LLM ChatGPT and a lot of LLM AI over legal documents, effectively almost giving me a team of 100 attorneys analyzing every document from every angle and pulling out insights and being able to release it incredibly quickly. I can't afford 100 attorneys to be working for 1,000 hours each, but with AI, I can effectively do that and have incredible turnaround. So I plan to release more and more information on my X account here, and you can come and follow me there for more. And then I'll show one more thing. My day job is on an AI company where I'm the founder, CEO, and I'm building AI to do filmmaking. It's act3ai.com, and I'll be using this in the Charlie Kirk investigation. So it's a very fast way to just type in, he said this, she said that. It pops into a script, and it immediately films and it goes through whether it's a real movie or this cartoon mode I have it in right now. And so you'll see a lot of this analysis I do in the Charlie Kirk investigation, and you'll see that we'll create content here to go through important parts of the investigation. And my background here of my day job to create the filmmaking here will be useful for the Charlie Kirk thing, but my programming background here with the AI will be important to write these scripts to basically act as 100 attorneys analyzing the court case as soon as documents come out and process those to find out where there are missing parts of it. So you will see that in my coverage, and you'll see that on the Twitter page.